What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another day in Car Mechanic Simulator with me, the Virtual Mechanic, and today's beautiful project, the final day of Speed Week, and we've got the champion of the last Speederboard on there with the Batmobile Speederboard Crusher. Absolutely loving this, made by French Toast, specifically to crush our own Speederboard, but we love that. Absolutely awesome. Will it be able to top the current version of the Speederboard based on the drag racing metrics instead of pure top speed as the old one was set for? This absolutely demolished that one. I say demolished. Let's take a quick look. Let's just fly up here very quickly and have a look. There she is. Ended up in the top spot last time. 1,518 horsepower. Top speed of 964 kilometers an hour. So close to that 600 mark. Just not quite making it. Obviously, we got a shorter run this time, so we're not expecting quite that high of a speed. But hopefully, we will be able to get at least into the top 10 of our new Drag Racing League style speederboard. Still currently led by the Elenti Callope, made by myself. The open wheel racer did manage to get on there, but the McLaren F1 GTR is down here somewhere like 13th. So hopefully we'll be able to do better with the Speederboard Crusher. I say hopefully, nothing is guaranteed. Let's have a look then. What have we got in here? I obviously got it from the auction house. It's in terrible condition, but it's not that bad. We've definitely seen a lot worse. I've pressed the wrong button there. Did we get a good deal? We did indeed. I bought it for 948,516 and could sell it right now for 975,054, making a profit of 26,538, and we're always very, very happy with that. The engine in this one is the V12 M158 engine. No swaps, so we're definitely sticking with that one. Factory horsepower of 795 horsepower. We will be increasing that with performance parts. Trying to make this a Batmobile absolutely as insane as we possibly can. And, well, the engine looks pretty complete in there, so that's a good start. So let's get cracking. Let's get this beast into the car wash. Let's get it cleaned up. Well, here we are then in the car wash with the Speederboard Crusher Batmobile. Let's get it cleaned. I don't think there's much underneath this. This can't even change livery in the body style it's in. And obviously it looks fantastic in this diamond and gold. Definitely what we're going to be sticking with. What color are we going to do the engine and suspension on this one, though? Because obviously the exterior of this is going to be that black diamond and the gold. While you guys think about that, and also while I think about that, let's get the interior done. Get this beast back on the lift. Get that engine ripped out of there and start stripping everything else down. The Batmobile Speederboard Crusher is in the air. We need to get underneath. That's very low. And check for the oil pan that we cannot see. So we need to get in and check for that oil pan. And where is a good place to do that? I do not know. Let's just go in at the suspension, because we only want to see if the oil pan is there. It is there. Fantastic. So let's go in and get all of that drained out from there. That took me longer than it definitely should have. Out you come. Very dirty, filthy oil in there. That is disgusting. But there we go. Batman does not look after his Batmobile. But let's get in and start getting some of this stuff ripped out of here. Obviously, we know we need that gearbox that doesn't line up with the drive shafts and wheels. Unfortunately, just one of those things. So let's get these wheels and drive shafts out of here. I'll be back in just a second. There we go. The wheels and drive shafts out on the Speederboard Crusher. Let's get in for that starter. Loving it that it's there. Out you come. And then we'll grab the rest of this gearbox as well. Out you come there. One rusty bolt. Not too bad. And then we'll just, we won't grab the exhaust because we can't grab it from here anyway. So let's just give it a go and ripping that big old engine out of there. Let's get the car back down onto the ground and go and grab the engine crane. Over you come. And let's see if we can rip it out, or did we miss something? We didn't miss something. Nice and simple. Now, when you do want to get in to access the engine bay, there is normally a door here, but you can open that door and then just click on the battery and you are in to the engine bay. Very easy to work on everything in there. If you can't see the battery, you can also hit the ECU or the fuse box. Nice and simple. So what have we got in here? Dual batteries. We know that. Nice and easy. We do have the exhaust in here now, so I'm going to rip that while we can. Fuse box, ECU type A up there. Then we've got a wishy-washy reservoir, coolant reservoir, and a brake servo. They all need to be drained. Nice and easy. Then we've got two air filters, one on either side, with two small intercoolers just underneath them as well. Then up here, we've got the ABS pump and module with two fuel tanks and two fuel pumps in there. And I believe that is everything. There is a lot going on in this vehicle. Let's just double swing around. No, that does look like everything. So all we need to do now is drain these liquids. Batman does not get power steering. He's a very strong man. He doesn't need it. So let's just get these liquids out. Simple right click, additional tools, drain tool, click and hold on the container, and it'll drain everything out. We're going to get everything else stripped out of here. When we come back, we'll be sorting out the bodywork on this wonderful Batmobile. That's everything repaired, replaced, or upgraded, ready to go back on for our Speederboard Crusher. But we need to sort this bodywork out. So let's start stripping it off. Front left fender off of U-Cum. That's a body part straight away off U-Cum there. What else have we got? Some little tucked away hidden bits there, like car part 2 hidden in there. Probably would have came off if we just pulled the full fender off, but you never know. What was that? Air intake. Let's keep going around, keep going around. I'm bound to miss lots on this. That's the rear bumper, which is the harnesses and the jet engine at the back. Rear right fender off U-Cum. What have we got around here? Must be some more. I don't think that's it, surely. Don't know, but we'll have a look in a second. Let's just get the interior out of there. Was there some seats at the back? There is some seats at the back, but not in, so we can deal with that later. Let's take a look. Is that everything then? No, it's not. We're definitely missing some parts. What have we got? A little bit of front end there and some headlights. Is that? There we go. One there and one there. And then that should be everything. Nothing showing up on there finally. And a 1% on there. Absolutely fantastic. Let's go and get the frame welder and get this carbon frame all sorted out. I don't know. What is it at? 47%. And I bought it for almost $1 million. I'm going to say, what was the McLaren? Like 40,000. I'm going to say 30,000. 9,500. Way, way, way off, but there we go. Get all of that sorted, and then we're going to get this beast all back together. We aren't going to be changing the colour of the outside because most of this frame and this design that this one is doesn't actually paint. We're going to be leaving it in the black, diamond, and gold, but we will be painting the engine and suspension. So let's get this beast all back together, get it into the paint shop just to give it a fresh coat of paint, and then get everything else painted and start reassembly. So I'm going to crack on with that. I'll meet you back here in a minute when we start putting this beautiful body all back together. It's time to get this beautiful Speederboard Crusher all back together. Let's just get going. Front fenders, we've obviously gone for the full Wayne-mobile fit with, you know, the diamond, whatever you want to call this on the outside, and the gold looking fantastic. So let's just start getting it all back on. Car part 1, you can have these, I believe you can have them open. We're going for closed because we're going for speed today. On with that engine cover on there, and then we've obviously got the front left or central door, and then the front windshield in there, which we will be tinting a little bit later on. Down the side, rear left fender in you go. There is a part in here, car part 2. Stag battery goes on rear left fender. It is listed in there what is needed. Then we got that trunk piece on there, looking absolutely stunning. The rear bumper in you go with the harnesses inside. Left tail light, rear right fender on you go, and then we've got the right tail light on there as well. No piece that goes in on this side. That is just it. I think that's it for the exterior, but let's get in and get the interior in. What we've got in here is at the front, we have the avalanche seat is what comes with it. We're going to leave that one in there. And at the back there, we've got the avalanche bench at the back, pitting the bad guys in the seats when we need to transport them to the Bat Cave for further interrogation. But there we go. Is that everything on the Speederboard Crusher? Body's only 81%. I'm definitely missing something. Oh, the whole front end. Missed it when we were taking it apart. Missed it when we were putting it back together as well. There we go. The headlights and the front end all in. And now is that everything? There we go. 100%, 100%, 100%. Fantastic. I am going to take this into the paint shop just to see if we can get a little bit of colouring on that piece. I don't think we can on that. That looks like it's carbon fibre, but we shall see. So I'm going to get it in there. Maybe just throw a splash of black or an extra splash of gold on there. Not completely sure yet. We'll get that done. Maybe actually a bit of red, because there is a bit of red. Or is that just reflections? Maybe that's just reflections. We shall see in a minute. But there we go. All back together. And again, a fresh coat of paint. And then we'll start reassembly on this beautiful Batmobile Speederboard Crusher. That's everything painted, ready to go back on the beautiful Speederboard Crusher. Love this design. We have put a little bit of colour in there. These bits, as you can see, are red. That's the only bit painted on the whole vehicle. Everything else is not. These bits were already red. So we just kind of matched it into that, looking pretty good. I can't open that because it's on the stand. There we go. But there is a black seat in there, painted black, so it is a bit darker. And if we open up the back here, we just put a bit of red on the rear bench seat just to make it a little bit more menacing. Looking pretty cool on there. But let's get it up in the air and start getting all this suspension together. Starting with the shocks, we got black shocks, metallic red springs and black caps on there, matching in with that tiny splash of red on the bodywork. The rears are exactly the same. Looking pretty good on there in the black and red, liking that. Let's get together, though. Let's start getting them all in. Get to the suspension. There we go. And start assembly of all of this. Now, we don't have a steering rack or a sway bar, but some of the other attachments are in there, such as the inner tie rod, which is in a gold. We've got the knuckle in a black, and the outer tie rod is also in gold on there. Lower and upper suspension arms are in that gold, looking fantastic on you go there. Let's get the top one on as well. There we go. In you go there. Now let's get the shock on. In we go with its black and red, looking quite nice in there. And then we've got a sway bar end link just in the gold on there, finishing it off. As I say, there is no actual sway bar, just some of the bits already on there. Front knuckle cover in the gold with the wheel hub in the black. On you go, bearing in there. And we've got the brake disc upgraded. We've got the brake pad ready to go. Front drive axle, which doesn't connect to anything, but we're using our imagination with this insane Batmobile. It connects into a built-in drive shaft, shall we say. And then we've got the brake caliper in a chrome red, just for a splash more of that red on there. Looking pretty nice, if I do say so. We do have some small intercoolers. These are in gold, one on each side. There we go, and there we go. And then also blacked out fuel tanks with some chrome red fuel pumps on there, just for a splash more of that red. Down the back we go then, and let's start getting all of this together. The rear knuckle in the black, pretty much exactly the same as the front, just a few different pieces. So let's get the arms on in their beautiful gold. One there and one there. In you go. Nicely done. Then we'll get that shock on. You go there, and then let's get the rest of the front finish. The knuckle cover, or the plate in gold. Then the knuckle housing. Oh my god, I can't remember what all these pieces are called, because it's not called the hub. It might be called the hub. Can't remember. But in the black, bearing in you go. Brake disc on you go. Then we've got the brake pad and the brake caliper, and we can get the last drive axles in a little bit later on once the engine and gearbox are in. That is all the suspension done, fuel tanks done, and obviously half of the intercoolers done, or all of the intercoolers done, half of the suspension done. There we go. Losing my train of thought there. So I'm going to get the rest of this finished, then we'll come and sort out the rest of this engine bay before we go and build that beautiful V12 engine. There we go, all finished with the beautiful suspension on the Batmobile Speederboard Crusher in black gold and a tiny splash of red. Even got the fuse box in a little red up there, just finishing it off. But we need to crack on and get the rest of this engine bay, or engine bays, all sorted. In with the two air filters there, and then just up here we got the cheeky little ABS pump in the metallic red with the module in a black on top of it. Looking quite nice on there. Nip around, not much to go in here. Got the brake servo, the coolant reservoir, and the wishy-washy reservoir in there. And then just down here, two cheeky little batteries dropped in. And then we got the ECU Stage 3 Type A in there, ready to be tuned, hopefully making the Speederboard Crusher a lot faster than it was the first time round. But that is the engine bay all finished from there. Now time to move on. We need to finish that beautiful V12 engine. So let's get into the other room and get this all together. Looking fantastic on there. We got the block in a gold with the oil pan just in a black underneath. And let's just start getting the rest of it on. We'll start with the engine heads. These are just blacked out on there. Looking very nice. In you go on this side. And let's get you in on the other side as well. Down you go, all bolted up, looking good. And then we'll crack on, and we're going to get all of the innards in. And now while we're here, we've got 2 camshafts, 1 on either side. And then we've got 5 camshaft caps on either side, so 10 in total. And if we just nip down here, we got spark plugs. There is 12 of them either side, so 24 spark plugs in total. I'll crack on, get the rest of this in. We've also got cam gears on the end, so we'll get them on as well. We'll get the rest of that done, and I'll see you in a minute. Spark plugs, camshafts, camshaft caps, all done, ready to go with the 2 cam gears on the end. Let's get the timing chain on you go, and then a little timing gear just on the front there, finishing that off. Then we got the timing cover, also in that gold, looking fantastic on there. Loving that. I think it looks great. Plus 2 little covers up here, both just in that little gold. One on this side and one on this side. They're all done there. Let's crack on with the front. We've got the water pump also in that gold. Looking pretty good on there. Then we've got the 2 water pump pulleys, which are blacked out as per usual. Love blacking these out. They just look a lot better. On there we go, and there we go. Then we've got the power steering pump in the gold on this side, with a cheeky little idle roller just down here blacked out. Alternator on this side also in the gold there, with another little idle roller blacked out just up there. Then we've got the main crankshaft pulley also blacked out. And then we should be able to get the belt on. In you go, and the belt tensioner. I nearly said timing something then, don't know what, but the belt tensioner in there. That's the front of the engine done. The oil filter, just in a cheeky little red for a splash of that, along with the fuel filter as well, both looking pretty good. Engine head covers, let's get these on. I'm not going to make you watch me bolt them all up because there is a lot of bolts, but they're both in that beautiful gold. So I'm just going to get these in, and I'll see you in a second. Lots of bolts on them, but looking fantastic in the gold. Then we've got the intake manifold, which is also in the gold on top. You can see just how much more chromed it is. It is the exact same gold. It's just the way that final piece turned out there. Then we've got the fuel rails. We've left them not coloured at all, just left them as they were with that beautiful red on there, looking pretty good. Then the manifold covers just in a black. Didn't know where the bolts were going to be. And then we've got the throttle just in that metallic red on the front. Just adding a splash more of that red, looking pretty good. Coil packs are just blacked out. One on that side, one on that side, on top of them spark plugs. Then we got the turbochargers, fully gold, looking absolutely fantastic on there. One on this side and one on this side. And then just a couple more pieces left to go, and this beautiful V12 will all be finished. We move up to the top. We've got the intercooler set also in the gold. On you go there. Looking very nice. Main 4 bolts. And then you've got a bolt on the turbochargers on either side as well. Get them in. And then we've just got these intercooler covers, which are in their carbon fibre, where we put some metallic red on the top, just for a tiny, tiny splash more of that red. Looking absolutely fantastic. Loving that engine in black and gold with a little bit of red, just to sort of finish it off. Nice little touch at the end there. There we go. I'm going to grab some pictures of this beautiful engine, and then we'll get it dropped in the Speederboard Crusher, get it outside in the sun, and see what horsepower and its drag rating is before heading over to the drag strip. Let's get this beast of a V12 dropped into the Speederboard crushing a Batmobile. Hopefully, we'll be able to top, or at least get in the top 10 of this Speederboard here today. I'll be so disappointed if it doesn't make it in. But let's get the engine dropped in. In you go. Now, we physically cannot see this engine from anywhere back here. There's a wall there that makes you can't see it. If we just take off this engine cover up here, you can sort of just about see a little bit. So let's go into photo mode. Let's just focus a little bit. Nip up over the top, and you can see that engine is in there looking pretty good. Very pleased with that. Looking fantastic. Let's just get that cover back on. On you go, because we have got a couple more bits to go in. So let's get underneath. Gearbox, drive shafts, liquids to top up, beautiful wheels to do, obviously, and then get them windows tinted. Oh, and the exhaust. I almost forgot the exhaust. In with that gearbox then, in a lovely gold. On you go there, just finishing all of that off, looking quite nice. The starter we have just done in a cheeky little metallic red, just to sort of add another splash of that. Not that you'll be able to see it from anywhere. Just realised we can't do the exhaust from here because we've got to lower the car back down. So let's just get the 2 floating drive axles in. One on this side. I forgot the bearing on the other side. So let's get you in and then that drive axle. There we go. All bolted up nicely. Ready for the wheels. Let's get it back down though, because we do want to get that beautiful exhaust in. The best way to get into the engine bay, I believe I did say at the beginning, is just down the side here. Fuse box. There we go. Nice and easy. Now let's get that exhaust on. Hopefully going to look fantastic in its gold. Obviously looking beautiful on there. Can we see them tips through the little flame chute? We can indeed. Oh, that looks beautiful in the gold on there. Very, very pleased with that. Closing the trunk up. We got some wheels to do. We got some windows to tint and all of them liquids to top up. So I'm going to crack on with that. And we'll get this beautiful Speederboard Crusher outside in the sun, ready to go drag racing. Well, here we are then, all finished with the Batmobile Speederboard Crusher, and it is looking fantastic, absolutely insane. Rear bench with a little bit of red on it. Let's get this open now and see some of the interior. Just as I said, it was just a plain black seat in there, looking pretty good, but some beautiful dials and that wonderful Batmobile steering wheel on there. Looks insane. Very pleased with this one. The rims I went for in this little beast today, this is the rim at 29A. Obviously two-tone black rim, but with some gold colouring on it, looking beautiful. And them red brake calipers just sticking through there enough that you can still see it. 29A is the rim. They are a 24-inch rim, absolutely massive, with a 355 width, extremely huge, and a 30 profile on there. Left them as they were from the factory of French toast, that is. But yes, absolutely fantastic. Front and backs, both the same size. That's a 24-inch rim, 355 width and a 30 profile on there. Loving the gold exhaust sticking up through there, looking absolutely beautiful. Just love this car in general. It is insane. But let's jump inside, get in and take a seat and see this interior. Loving this. It looks absolutely incredible in here. Text scrolling. Excellent work by French Toast. Beautiful work as always. But let's get this one started. See what the Batmobile Speederboard Crusher sounds like with that insane turbocharged V12 in there. Bit of high pitch there, liking that. Let's give it some gas. Oh, that is what we are talking about. Loving the high pitched whine with the turbo whistle on there as well. Just really finishing it off. That's sounding beautiful. But let's get this beast onto the dyno, see what its horsepower will be. Probably slightly higher than before, and what its drag rating is. Speed Week 2, and we've got the previous Speederboard Crusher still sat at the top of that Speederboard on the dyno. 795 factory horsepower on this one. How much have we added today? Will it be better than the previous one? Let's take a look. So we have a gain of 903 horsepower, which is 114%. Now, the last time we did the Speederboard Crusher, our gain was only 724 horsepower at 91%. We did do it in the release of the drag racing DLC, but we didn't use any of the drag strip new stuff for it. So we didn't tune the ECU or anything like that. So that's where the difference probably comes in from there. Last time we ended up with 1,518 total horsepower. Now we've got 1,697 total horsepower. And the drag rating, obviously we knew this, of a 999. Absolutely fantastic from the Speederboard Crusher. Will it be able to maintain its lead though and go back to the top of the Speederboard? We will find out in just a minute. But before we do that, let's look at the gearbox tuning setup. There she is, a 2.85 ratio, 110 kilometers an hour in first gear, up to a listed 569 kilometers an hour in 7th gear. I'm not sure how it's going to do, so let's get it over to the drag strip and find out. That is that fully tuned ECU ready to go and no carburetors. Let's get over to the drag strip. Let's see what kind of competitions our entries, our opponents will have today, and if we're going to be able to smash them, take a tournament win, and retake the title of the Speederboard Crusher. Well, for the first time, the Speederboard Crusher has made it to the drag strip for the King of the Sand tournament. 1 mile and definitely in that A-class. Pay the entry fee. Now, the time to beat to get the top spot on the Speederboard is 7.208 seconds to the quarter of a mile. Who have we got in here today for the beautiful drag race? Country Thang's up there in the version 3 Unicorn. Our first race is against the Ford Mustang Drag. Then we got a couple of selection of Dodge Charger 777s in there. Matteo is in the electric Ferrari against the electric Ferrari. I quite like that. We got King Slowpoke in the Dodge Charger 777 against another electric Ferrari. And then rounding up the bottom of the end, 3 Unicorns plus the Nissan Skyline Drag. Our first race is against the Ford Mustang Drag. Can the Speederboard Crusher retain its title at the #1 spot and get through this tournament? Absolutely smashing it and winning it. Let's get in. Let's find out. The beautiful blacked out Ford Mustang Drag looking insane on there against our black, gold and diamond Speederboard Crusher Batmobile. Is it going to win? There's only one way to find out. Let's get inside. Let's go. This thing is loud. Off the line. Into second. Into third. Into fourth. Now, this does like to wobble and sway a little bit. So you've got to kind of keep it straight. And if you do get stuck on the barrier, you are getting stuck on that barrier. Nothing is releasing you. We're in top gear and across the line. What have we got from the Speederboard Crusher? 7.121 seconds to the quarter of a mile. Top of the Speederboard already. One race in. Absolutely loving that. 15.382 seconds to the 1 mile with a top speed of 300? Nope. 696 kilometers an hour. 7.121 to the quarter of a mile. That is insane. I am loving that. Absolutely demolishing the Ford Mustang Drag in the first race. I think this is probably going to demolish everything. It's called the Speederboard Crusher for a reason. Let's get in and see who's up next. Well, all of our friends have fallen at the first hurdle. Bit of a shame there. Country Thang is out. Matteo is out. King Slowpoke is out. We are holding it together for everyone. We've got our next races against the Dodge Charger 777, and if we win that, we will be up against another Dodge Charger 777, guaranteed. Then we got a couple of electric Ferraris, and then the Ford Mustang. It is a Ford Mustang Unicorn. The version, didn't even see it, version 2 version there. And the Nissan Skyline drag bringing up the rear there. So let's get into it. Can we beat the Dodge Charger 777 and maybe make it through to the next one? I imagine so, as long as I don't make any silly mistakes. Let's get into it. Let's go. The Dodge Charger 777. That is a beautiful blue on there. Absolutely loving that. That looks gorgeous. Little missile rocket, as we've seen before. We know it does well. Currently in the top 10, I do believe. But this is already top of the Speederboard first race in. Can we improve on it in our second race? Let's find out. Let's go. Off the line, into second, into third, into fourth. Make sure we don't crash into that barrier, into fifth, or cross over that line, into sixth. Very hard to control and focus. Luckily, it makes a terrible whine when you miss the gear, and across the line, bouncy, wobbly. What have we got this time? Under 7 seconds, 6.956 seconds to the quarter of a mile. Absolutely smashing it. That is the fastest time I've ever seen in any testing, practicing, trialing, and everything. For me, that is definitely the fastest time ever seen. Loving that. 15.355 seconds to the 1 mile. Definitely just beating out our first run there by a little bit. But the top speed a little slower of only 683 kilometers an hour instead of the 696 we did in our first run. I don't care though. Under 7 seconds to the quarter of a mile. Definitely very impressed with that one. Let's do the next one. See if we can beat it just a little bit more. Well, the Unicorn made it through against the electric Ferrari. That was obviously going to happen. And we are up against the Dodge Charger 777 again. So let's just get into it. Try and make it into that final and see who we're up against. All I'll say is it definitely looked better in blue than it does in that off-white beige colour. Not a big fan of that colour, but the car itself is awesome. Speederboard Crusher. Are we going to crush it again, or am I going to make a mistake? Let's get in. Let's go. Off the line, into second, into third, into fourth. Make sure we're not crossing over the line or crashing into the barrier. Almost across the line there. Let's get into top gear, almost across the line again. Let's get this beast across the finish line and see if it was better than our first 2 runs. Wobbling, bouncing everywhere. Still going. Oh, and we've flipped, we've bounced. We've come to a stop. There we go. 7.094 seconds to the quarter of a mile this time round. Not as good as our second run, but still very impressive nonetheless. 1 mile, 15.308 seconds, which is actually our fastest to the 1 mile, but we're more concerned about that quarter speed there. And the top speed, again, the fastest at 699 kilometers an hour. We've made it into the final. Not really surprised. A little bit because I could have crashed and burnt, but we didn't do that. Let's get in and see who we're up against in the final. We have made it into the final. The Speederboard Crusher against the Ford Mustang RTR Unicorn version 2. Absolutely insane. Is this our first Unicorn? It is our first Unicorn. Well, there we go. Final race today against our first Unicorn. Let's get in and see if we can beat our second time, which was the fastest one, under 7 seconds. Can we get another run under 7 seconds? I do love the livery on the version 2 Unicorn. It looks absolutely insane. Very American, though. Being an Englishman myself, don't mind it. It's just a bit too over the top, but I absolutely love the livery nonetheless. Is the Speederboard Crusher going to take a tournament win completely and absolutely dominate everything in its path? Can we get another one under 7 seconds? Let's get in. Let's go. Off the line. None of that messing up there. Into second, into third, into fourth. Make sure we don't cross over that central line and ruin it all for us. Into sixth, into seventh. Let's get this beast across the line. Can our last run be the best? Across the line, what have we got? 6.993. Not quite as fast as our second run, but again, under 7 seconds. Definitely very impressed by that. 15.114 seconds to the 1 mile. Smashing everything we've done previously today. The top speed is 704 kilometers an hour. I mean, I kind of want to put this one down because it is the best all round, although the quarter of a mile we did get in a 6.956 seconds. So I am going to put that one down. It was the lowest top speed of the day, but but the fastest to the quarter mile. That one is absolutely insane. Let's get back. Let's collect our winnings and get the Speederboard Crusher back to the top spot on the Speederboard and then decide whether we're going to keep it or sell it. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Should we keep it or should we sell it? There's our beautiful winnings. 11,250. The Speederboard Crusher absolutely crushed it. Pun intended. There we go. Obviously, minus our entry fee leaves us with a profit of 10,250. And at the beginning, we were already up 26,538. So we're in for a good run. Let's get this beast onto the Speederboard. Let's get it back to the garage. The Batmobile Speederboard Crusher retaking its place at the top of the Speederboard. Very, very happy about that. 1,697 horsepower. The quarter mile in 6.956 seconds. 1 mile in 15.355 seconds. Top speed of 683 kilometers an hour or 424 miles an hour. Well and truly the top in all categories along there. Absolutely insane. 1 mile, quarter mile. I mean, not top of their horsepower, obviously. There's definitely higher horsepower things there. Quarter mile, 1 mile, and speed all considerably, definitely 100% top of the Speederboard. Loving that with a fresh new image down there on the lineup against the version 2 Unicorn. Absolutely fantastic. Very impressed with that. Wasn't quite expecting it. The open wheel races started off Speed Week well, coming in second place. It's now in third place, obviously. But then we did the McLaren F1 and it ended up in 13th, now in 14th. So I was a bit worried about this one. But the Batmobile Speederboard Crusher has restored my faith in the old Speederboard by coming in again at the top of this one. Absolutely fantastic. But let's get back outside and see if we could sell the Batmobile on for a big profit. Although we're not going to sell it. We're definitely keeping it. It's going to take the spot outside of the Elenti Callope, the former for #1 spot on the Speederboard. There she is, all finished and now top on the Speederboard. Loving that for the second time of asking. Managed to top it both times we tried. Absolutely loving it. Fantastic. We've seen the times, we've seen the speeds. Let's just talk some facts and figures about this beautiful Batmobile. I bought it for 948,516 and could have sold it at the beginning at a gain of 26,538. But we didn't do that. We since spent a further 232,155 modifying, upgrading, and tuning this beautiful Batmobile to how you see it today, getting it down the drag strip in the fastest time I have ever seen anywhere, let alone this channel. But absolutely fantastic. Our total spend was 1,180,671. Would we be able to sell this Batmobile on for some big money? There is only one way to find out. Let's get in. Let's take a look. Well, there it is, all 100% finished. Absolutely fantastic. That engine ramped up to 1,697 horsepower, a gain of 114%. Fantastic. Can we make some money? We're not selling it, but if we were to sell it, would we make some money? Definitely. With a sale price of 5,089,978, leaves us with a profit of 3,909,307 plus our drag strip winnings of 10,250 pits the total profit from this beautiful Speederboard Crusher at 3,919,557. This car is absolutely insane. I've loved it. It's been so much fun. And that engine in the gold, black, and a splash of red just for good measure. Looking beautiful in there, along with all of that suspension as well. And the interior, it is a stunning car. If you don't have the Batmobile, you should definitely go onto the Steam Workshop and grab it for yourself. I'll put a link in the description below. I am unsure whether the Speederboard Crusher is in there or whether, I can't remember where it was one. I know it was made specifically for me, but I can't remember whether he released it with the rest of the mod or not, or whether it's just me. But you still have the Batmobile. It is a lot of fun, and if you're on PC, you can go into the config editor and play with it to your heart's content, because it is absolutely mental and insane. And we're not selling it. It's going to go in that spot just there. And the Elenti Callope, after all of this time being at #1, is going to go into parking and be hidden away for a little while. But what have we got up next? Well, it is Monday right now. Obviously, Wednesday will be the next video. And it is going to be competition entry time. And it is the Bolt Mosquito Mark 6 Jumpy that everyone's been working on this time. This is our version. I got it from the nice auction house, so it's pretty complete. It looks almost brand new, but it's definitely not. You can see quite a lot of adjustments and changes made to this one. The only thing I'm not sure about is the wheelie bar. We may lose the wheelie bar by the end, but it is pretty wild, pretty insane, and I pretty much love it. Let's have a look at it. It is obviously the Bolt Mosquito Mark 6. It's the Virtual Mechanic Edition. We got it from the nice auction house, and as I said, it is very, very good condition. 74%, the lowest part on there, and that's only the interior. Did I get a good deal on it? I did. 55,770 is what I paid for it, and I could sell it for 72,378, making 16,608 before we even begin. Definitely very happy with that. The engine in this one, well, we've gone for a new Ford engine. I've gone for the V8 Ford Small Block 289F, which is the front-mounted engine, the version from the GT40. Just the GT40 uses the rear engine or mid-engine mounting. This is the front engine. It is fantastic. 680 factory horsepower. Obviously, it's been tweaked and tuned a little bit, ready for us to throw performance parts on it and make this one as absolutely wild as we can. But this is going to be for next time. That is the end of today's video. I do hope you did enjoy it. If you did, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button with a new Speederboard champion in the Speederboard Crusher Batmobile. Absolutely fantastic vehicle. Well and truly loved working on that one today. What do you think we should do with our Bolt Mosquito Mark 6? I do already have some stuff in mind, but do let me know in the comments below. Have a beautiful day, whatever it is you're getting up to. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.